to food for the soul. Again, if this is the dream of a glutton, do you think it would pertain to the soul or to the act of gluttony? Or probably to the act of gluttony. There are other aspects to be considered that are almost universal in nature. What is thy adornment? How would ye garb thyself? For ye will find that the manner in which ye garb thyself is usually the manner in which ye would wish to appear to others. Would ye dress as a peacock or a beggar? For this is as ye would wish to appear to others. There are many dreams where the entity finds itself naked. Simple definition, fear of exposure. Would ye often dream of that of animals? For if ye would do so, the manner in which ye as an individual regard that animal is simply an indication that this is an aspect of thy personality, the shadow of thy soul. Would ye dream of the cow contentedly chewing the cud? For if ye do so, perhaps thy problem would be indolence. But would you see that of the raging dog ready to snap and bite all? Then perhaps you're having a tendency to be a little too irritated and being short and caustic with thy tongue and snapping and biting of others, you see. Would ye be the lazy lion? But in defining these things, do not ask how another would feel over these animals, but ask thyself, how do I feel? For you see, some could regard animals as game, and others could regard them as simply cowardly and fleeting. See, this is a personal thing. There are other aspects that could be considered. What of the people that you would dream of in thy dreams? Know that in most cases, those that ye dream of are extensions of thyself, and the manner in which ye feel or think about or towards these individuals is in actuality the manner in which ye live thy life. And man is a great one to deceive himself into believing that he is more than he is, or less than he is. Would ye dream of small things? Perhaps then ye would dream of that of the insects. In not all cases, but in many cases, the aspects of birds, especially those that are dark in color, are a foretelling of that could be the physical demise or death of another, or as of thee. For ye would dream of frogs raining from heaven, then ye dream of unclean things. If ye would be shown thy gifts, and ye would look for the gifts that are thine from that of God, then this will be shown to thee, usually in the form of birth. Now this might be as two eggs hidden under a leaf, or it might be the picture of a row of pregnant animals or females, or pregnancy within thyself. There are aspects of death in the dream. Some of these are literal and foretell that is to be, but some are what ye might call gentle praise to thyself of that ye have killed, or old things within thee have died, and there is a new birth forthcoming. These are aspects to be considered. There are those dreams that are purely physical in nature. For the biological clock of each entity in that of the flesh ticks, and every so often the alarm rings. And when it does, this entity would seek out the companionship of one of the opposite sex, usually, for the gratification of this desire to share through physical congress. There are those aspects that are the mare that is ridden through the night, for the nightmares are usually caused, although not always, by the act of gluttony. For the body must work very hard, you know, to digest the foods that are taken into it. If people only realized how hard they worked to eat what they experience in moments of pleasure through that of taste, and chances are they wouldn't eat so much. But usually that of the mare that would ride through the night is simply caused by an entity that has too flexible an elbow and would fill his gut to the brimming. See?
Does having an adequate amount of sleep, such as 7 or 8 hours per night, have any significance on our ability to remember our dreams?
Understand that, as we have said before, all are in a constant dream state. Now, if the entity is deprived of physical sleep, and a certain amount of rest and sleep is necessary for all, then that entity will begin to experience what man calls hallucination, another word for vision. But those that would deprive themselves of entering that of the state of natural sleep experience many hallucinations. This would also be true of those that would heavily drug the body with that of alcohol or other forms of drugs. For when these are in the body, it causes the psyche to separate from itself, and the entity is in a dream state while it appears to be in that of the conscious state. And when entering the state of natural sleep, would enter the deepest levels of sleep and not experience that of the dream. But the dream will be experienced in one fashion or another. And if you would find those that would deprive themselves of natural rest, and know ye all must rest, for even that of the Master of Jesus, often tired of the flesh, and would seek the comfort of the log, or the shade of the glen, or the whisper of the brook, to rest the weary bones, then all must understand that if he as the Master did require this rest, then they should give themselves the same privilege. For if they do not, then they will be thought of as odd, weird, crazy, demented, and that's actually what they will become. There are many aspects of sanity or insanity, but many, through the use of foreign substances induced into the body, cause themselves to eventually produce a state of constant demented. See?